you recognize her? You're right, this is Queen Victoria, the grandmother of Queen Elizabeth. But take a closer look at this photo. What do you see? Well, yes, she's on the throne, but look closer. I want you to fix your eyes on this one. Do you know what this is? This is what you call a footstool. In the modern days, footstools are used for relaxation, but in ancient times, they were symbols of power and are often associated with the throne of a king or a queen. Rulers used footstools to ascend thrones high off the ground and to rest their feet while they were seated on the throne. Now, does it make sense now what David wrote in a psalm? Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. And Isaiah 66 verse 1 says, Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Isn't that eye-opening? But this revelation I'm about to share will blow your mind. On January 16th, I had a dream of a woman named Ruth. In that dream, she was in a room with her family, observing religious and demonic traditions from a false religion. But she wasn't there to participate. In fact, she came in late, and I saw her sat on a chair and took a stool and rested her feet on it in front of her family. Interpretation. Ruth here is a prophetic symbol. In the story between Ruth and Boaz, Ruth is a type of the church, the redeemed Gentiles, and the bride of Christ. And Boaz is a picture of Christ, our kinsman redeemer. Jesus did not just redeem the church from her old life of sin. He redeemed her for himself to be his bride forever, sharing his life, his riches, his authority, and his glory, his position, ruling and reigning with him. If Christ sits on the throne above all thrones, above all power, above all principalities, then that means the bride, the church, which is in Christ, is also seated with him on the throne of power and authority. If on that throne, the Father of glory has made the enemy a footstool for his Son Jesus, that only means the Lord has made the enemy the footstool of the church too. And the king shares his footstool with his church to rule and reign over the kingdom of darkness. You know, in the Old Testament, in the battle at Gibeon between the Israelites led by Joshua and the Amorites, God killed the enemies of Israel. And when the battle was over, Joshua says to his warriors, Come near, put your feet on the necks of these kings. And so they did, and Joshua said to the people, There's no need to fear, for the Lord will do the same thing to all your enemies. And afterward, Joshua struck them with his sword and killed them. Brutal, isn't it? But this is exactly what God is doing in the Spirit for his sons and daughters in Christ, for he has shared his footstool with us. So what are you going to do now? Are you going to cower in fear and misery at the darkness around you? Or will you exercise the authority and power Jesus has shared with you and be the light of the world that he called you to be? God bless you, beloved.